Hey guys, welcome to episode 5 of the Biblical Way podcast. We've changed the name from Real Talk to the Biblical Way because we're young people trying to see the world in the biblical way, brackets, lens. And we're going to talk about Iran. If you guys haven't already seen from the title and thumbnail.
Big news.
Yes.
Exciting news. One
It's
of the best things to happen in my lifetime, I'd say.
This guy is super stoked about it.
Super
I'm
stoked.
learning a bit more about it. We're going to be reacting to Apologetics Roadshow's YouTube channel, which is David Wood, if you don't know who he is. And he had a guest on talking a bit about it. We're going to react to that, give our 2 cents, go from there. Yeah. You happy with that? Do you want to say anything else?
No, I'm happy. That's enough.
The intro.
Establishing information.
Let's go.
We're going to be reacting to Muhammad Faridi's testimony.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to watch a short clip now, but in the longer time that he's sharing, he actually talks about some of the training that he underwent as a fervent Shia Muslim jihadi.
Yep.
As a member of the Islamic Republic Guard Corps, IRGC, I do believe, something like that. And it's quite chilling. And he makes the point to say that that when jihadists say that they love death more than Christians and other people love life,
Yep.
that it's true, that he's experienced that.
Mm-hmm.
And he talks about his family history coming from a long line of respected jihadists.
Yeah.
And so we're going to pick up right after he's finished talking about the things he did as a young man preparing for holy war.
Yep. Preparing for holy war. Here we go.
When they tell you Muslim love death over as much as you love life as Christian, it is truth. We were thinking dying is the highest goal, highest value that you will ever earn as a Muslim. And then I was dreaming about this, praying to Allah to give me the honor to become like my uncle. Came back from my military service, talked to a friend of mine who was were identical in age. He's 3 days older than me. He was medically exempt. I was trying to get his name is Rasul. Ironically, means the apostle in Farsi. So Rasul, he was medically exempt. I was after I came back, I wanted to get caught up with him. I talked to him a few minutes. He said he wants to come out see me. And a few minutes, I realized Rasul has changed, and I couldn't exactly tell what was the matter with him. And then he said, Muhammad, I have become Christian. I said, what? Is Christianity something you become? I want you to consider what he did with a little more care, because now I just came out of IRGC. This is happening inside Iran. That's how much he cared for me. That's how much he loved me, to dare to tell me the truth. And he said that Jesus Christ has been sacrificed for you. He was beaten, bruised, cut. His precious blood was shed, and he gave up his life that you have eternal life. David, folks, when he told me that, something went right into my heart. I mean, it's like my heart was cut into 2 pieces.
Wow.
And I was just felt naked before a holy God, having nothing to offer. Everything I was trying to do as a Shia Muslim, beating myself, get a sword, cutting myself, shedding my own blood, dreaming about dying for the sake of Allah. I just realized it was finished in the person of Jesus Christ. And that's the best thing I've ever heard in my life.
There we go.
Amazing testimony.
Mm-hmm.
And it really just highlights the difference between an Islamic mindset and the Christian one.
Yeah, definitely does. And I think what's sticking out to me about this testimony is, well, in this video, let's try to do credit. There is a Muslim in the top left. You know a bit more about that guy's name?
Yes, Isa. He's a Sufi Muslim, but he's super open. I think his position is, because he hangs out with a lot of people who do make fun of Islam. His position is that God is bigger than the way that, you know, radical Muslims would view Allah. Like, he thinks that God is he would agree with a lot of the Christian thinking about the personality of God, and he would think that God kind of wouldn't mind, kind of doesn't really care about all of these inter-sectarian differences and all the infighting. Like, he's bigger than that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I just wanted you to explain a bit who he was, because to a certain extent, obviously, it's not all Muslim. And the reason I say that is because what stood out to me is what he was talking about, how just as Christians value life, aspire to life, Muslims have the same view when it comes to dying and for their religion, killing people. And that's why he was training. If you want to watch the full interview with him and the full podcast, I'll link that in the description.
Yeah, and he comes on at about 30:16.
Yeah.
And then just continues on. The whole thing is worth watching. It's really great. It's really informative. If you're unsure about what's going on in Iran, historically, and also the Iranian perspective about what's going on. You should watch the whole thing. We'll be touching on some of that.
Yeah. And so I think his testimony just really stood out to me as like in our church we talk about evangelism, we talk about tactics, but honestly sometimes it's just the boldness of his friend
Mm-hmm.
who they were both training. Well, he wanted to train, but he said his friend was exempt.
Yeah, for
Um,
medical condition.
for medical conditions, but he wanted to become a jihadist.
Mm-hmm.
He is training to be a jihadist, and his friend took the risk of being outed, most likely killed, to share the gospel in very simple words.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus died for you.
And it's like they both exhibit this kind of boldness, but in two really different ways. Is that Muhammad Faridi was willing to die a glorious death, because that in and of itself is a good thing, whereas his friend who shared the gospel with him loved life but was willing to die to serve God. Right? I mean, that's why a Christian dies as a martyr. Right?
That's deep.
Is that the life that we have in Jesus, and Jesus, who is the author of life, we love that so much. We're willing to sacrifice today, our lives, our bodies today, for that perfect life, for the author of life. And it's just so different. Because we don't love death in that way. Death is something that we're willing to face to serve life.
Yeah, and I think just I'm not hugely educated on Islam and stuff like this, like Pete is, so he'll be able to talk more about the religion. But for me, I'm always trying to see it in perspective of my life right now. And what you're saying right there and what this guy's saying right here really sticks out to me, because one thing you hear a lot against Christianity, or something I've heard, is like, well, there's so many religions. How do you know which one's true? They basically will say the same thing. And people specifically when it comes to Judaism, Islam, and Christianity is like, well, you all stem from the same books. You all basically believe the same things. And it's just like, you just don't. To a certain extent, maybe. But like what you're saying then, like when you actually look at the impact on people's lives, like how has that actually outworked the different beliefs? One, the peak of one religion is dying in a warlike fashion. And the other one's dying in a servant-like fashion.
Yeah. The understanding of martyrdom is completely different. Like if you see our brief interview with Glenn Scrivener, he talks about how being a martyr is basically just being a witness, right? And there's something about in the Christian idea of martyrdom is like, if it means having to give up my life, right? I will bear witness to Jesus, but also in giving my life, I'm showing people that Jesus is so much more than this life. So martyrdom is you taking violence upon yourself, right? Like Jesus did. Well, like Jesus did. Whereas Islamic martyrdom is dying while giving out violence. Being so reckless, so recklessly fervent that you're willing to deal death. And if in the course of that you get chopped to bits or maimed or your life is taken from you entirely, amazing, great. It's even better. It's just so different. It's the concept of bearing witness to your God through giving your life is alien between the two religions.
It is, yeah. Is there anything else you want to say about his testimony? Because obviously the next topic about this guy is talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing. It's just amazing. The gospel is amazing. It's amazing how every time, like when you get saved, every time you hear a good gospel presentation, it just gets you, right?
When I first watched it, I really felt it. I nearly cried. It's just amazing how something I'm super, super passionate about is that no one is too far from the gospel. No one is too far. And people say, I mean that in a slightly different sense of people. I mean that in a sense, don't stop pursuing, don't stop preaching, don't stop telling people. Some people go, no, far away from the gospel, so let loose, let God. And it's like, no, that's not what I'm talking about.
They're on a journey.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about is like this guy training to be a jihadist. Guys, listen to his testimony. He's training to kill himself and other people in the process. Just before this, because we keep it all in, he says that they lay him in tombs in darkness so that he wouldn't fear death, that he would welcome death. Guys, insane. To then with one conversation with his friend, and what he was saying is what you needed to think about was the risk his friend was making is almost what spoke to him, because he's saying, I've become a Christian. I'm taking a risk on you as someone training to be a jihadist. because if you could kill me right now,
Yeah.
and people will honor you for
Mhm. It's just the strength of the story is so
Mhm.
amazing. Like that's what
the strength. Yeah.
and the Jesus is so. I won't get into how complicated this actually is when you think about it, but Jesus is so surprisingly good. That's so much of the changing power of the gospel is you finding out about this man
Yeah.
and what he's done for you.
Yeah.
And like you couldn't, it's too good to be false. It's so perfectly beautiful that God came to die for us that it impacts people in a way that nothing else can. It's amazing. If you just the gospel is it's powerful. Don't be afraid to share it. Don't be afraid to use it. It sells itself.
Yeah. That's great.
Cool.
Let's move on to the next part.
Yeah.
In similar vein, we're going to move on to the second part of the clip. So there might be a cut here, which is going to be talking about the martyrs. Wow, it's like magic for you guys if you're watching the video. It's just a random cut, but for us, it's not. Right. Second part. Let's go. Oh, my.
In 1994, 1995, and 1996, the Iranian regime kidnapped and killed 6 major heads of the church, the Assemblies of God, and other churches that 2 of them were Armenians, 4 of them were ex-Muslim. They were head of the churches inside Iran. And they thought, the Islamic regime of Iran thought, when we decapitate the heads of the Christian movement of Iran, this is going to be done away with. And Bishop Hike, he was kidnapped and he was stabbed 26 times. They called themselves the anonymous soldiers of Mahdi. They killed this man, stabbed him 26 times, cut his heart, and then one of those ex-Muslims were hung up in one of those ex-Muslim pastors was hung up in front of his house with a note to his chest. He was lynched in front of his home in that street, and then they put a note on his chest that this is what you get as an apostate. And they were thinking, okay, we took care of the Christianity in Iran. And then lo and behold, by this time, 10 years later, I got saved in 2006. But in 2004, 2005, and 2006, I have met thousands of Iranians. Personally, I have met thousands of ex-Muslim Iranians who have come to Christ in those years, 10 years after that. Christians are stealing the Islamic soldiers, the Muslim soldiers, out of the camp of Islam, and they're taking it into the camp of Christianity. So there were so many Muslims, our age, millennials, that they were converting to Christianity that took his attention. He took it to the parliament of Iran, and they took it from a normal level of security to a national level of security. And that's in 2008, 2009, our church, the Network of the Believer I was working with, it got attacked and many people were arrested, unfortunately.
All right. So there was the clip there talking about the martyrs. We kind of touched on it a bit, and it might be on screen there. I don't know. I might get cut up a bit because that was a long clip. Is some guy saying, famous, not in the Bible, but it's very, very famous, kind of saying is the blood of the martyrs is the seed of the church. I don't know too much about the system of Islam, so you'll be able to fact check me right now. But what's so different from what my understanding of Christianity compared to Islam is in Islam, in almost every sect, they put so much pressure or they idolize their leaders so much that once you take out the leaders, the whole regime will fall.
I mean, it's complicated because, yes, there is part of that. But in Shia Islam, they have particular beliefs. In Shia Islam, they have particular beliefs about the Ayatollahs, where they're guided by God. God speaks to them. And so, and also Islam doesn't really have a concept of, like in Christianity, bad things happen to good people. Our religion is based around a bad thing that happened to the perfect person. In Islam, the idea is if you're pious enough, if you're religious enough, Allah will favor you. And so you don't really have too much of an understanding of bad things happening to good people generally. It's usually a judgment on your impiety. And so that's part of the reason why taking out, like if you have a theocratic movement where you have like religious scholars and legalists running a movement in Islam, and they get taken, they're supposed to be the cream of the crop. They're the holiest people. And if they're taken out, that seems like a judgment from Allah. And so that's part of the reason why this works, right? Is it feels like it's demoralizing.
Yeah. And the reason I wanted you to explain that and also maybe just fact check with what I was saying is, what he was saying is they applied that. They thought that that's how Christians work. We thought if we could take out the Christian leaders, it would stop the church, but that's not how it works. Killing the martyrs, not how it works. It motivates Christians, gives them faith for all of this stuff. You want to touch on that?
Yeah, Christianity is so strange in that way is that it's the balance between looking forward to what we're going to have in heaven and the second creation, but also not, but also realizing that there is value in this life. And so when we talk about the blood of the martyrs being the seed of the church, we're not thinking about human lives, like Christian lives, as like a currency. Each and every loss is a tragedy, and it shouldn't have happened, right? If we hadn't left the garden, if we hadn't left Eden, none of these lives would have been taken. But given that we are in a world that is both that has lots of beauty because it was made by a perfect creator, but also has a lot of human evil and has a lot of a natural disaster in it, um, we place we're expected to put we're supposed to, sorry, you may need to cut this bit out. We're both supposed to have in view how valuable human life is, and also see that when a person lays down the most valuable gift he could, his own life, we see that this points to how much trust they have in the God that gave them life, right? And so it's more it reframes your whole view when someone that you know, someone that you trust within your own community, lays down their life. It makes eternity seem more real to the Christian, right?
Man, I love
That's
what you
I think that's
yeah.
what's happening.
I love what you said, that in Christianity, life is valuable. That that's just all of this. It it makes me think, are we willing to lay our lives down? You know? I like to think so as well. I don't know too much information, but some of you guys will know if you made it this far or if you haven't made it this far, that I've had people speak to the police about my life, about the stuff that we're putting out there. And I've thought about that. Am I willing to go to prison? Am I willing to have my life to some degree ruined and scarred and have a criminal record for what I'm doing? I think so.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, also, if we who are in the body of Christ, we need to support people who are being victimized for Christ as well. Like, I think one of the ugliest things I see is when people who are Christian, or maybe just claim to be Christian, but are very taken with the world's opinion of Christians and Christianity, turn against people in the body of Christ who are standing up for things that they believe in, right? I wouldn't say it's disloyalty per se. I would say it's I don't know.
Misguided.
It's misguided. It's misguided, and the least we can do for people who are suffering for their spiritual beliefs, or who are laying their lives down for the cause, for the kingdom, to further the kingdom. So we should gather around them and support them.
Yeah.
So if you have a friend who loses their job because of they're expressing a belief about LGBT or whatever, right, and then they're stuck in a rut, they can't provide for themselves or their families. Like, Christians should be looking out for our own. We have an obligation, I think, to look after the people who are nearest to us. And yeah, like, give that guy a job, like, help sustain him, help everyone pitch in something to look after him, while we in this world, God will care for us through the church most of all. And we can't be turning on each other. And if in Iran, if under this pressure, all the underground church members just started informing on one another, right? Imagine, like, imagine it, if it would be able to withstand that amount of betrayal and that lack of family love. It's because I think this is the thing, is when a martyr dies, Christians just pull together tighter. There's
unite.
more love,
Yeah.
where there's more support, and then we become stronger because of that.
It makes you really think. Like I'm saying, this is convicting. You hear stories like this. It challenges your faith. It really does. It challenges your faith. And all of this stuff in Iran, it's challenged me from the little I know. And I just wish more people.
Yeah.
I think we're so privileged in England it's like, as of right now anyway, if you're a Christian, you're not likely to die because of it. And so I don't think our faith is challenged a lot here.
Yeah, indeed. And honestly, sometimes it's not very promising, because you see people with just the minimum amount of social pressure just
Crumble.
crumble, just run away from their community.
There we go. The camera's working. Sorry, guys. There's a bit of a cut that had to plug the camera in. Everything we're talking about, family, unity, all of this stuff ties really into the next part of what we're going to talk about, which is actually, how do the Iranians feel about this? I've seen polarizing things on media, which is mind blowing to me. Was this a bad thing? Was Trump interfering a bad thing? Let's see how the Iranians.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Here we are now. Got it up with the third clip that we're gonna talk about. Maybe there'll be some cuts and stuff because they're long clips, but get into this. How do the Iranians feel? Didn't work.
Thought that they have arrived, and then they killed the head of the octopus that was in Tehran. This evil Ayatollah is killed. I promise you, upward of 90% of the Persians in Iran and diaspora, they are rejoicing it. This has been the best news to them. Imagine this person just this past week. They were quoting chapter 2 of the Quran, I think it's verse 193 or 197. They were saying that Allah has commanded us to kill as many to get rid of the discord that is in the land. These people were killing us and quoting us the Quran. But now who's going to quote the Quran to them? So he joined his processor, whatever that word is. So Khomeini was the original Ayatollah, and Khamenei, which died last night, he was the person who replaced that guy, which, I mean, they outdid one another in evil, and thank God for President Trump. CIA gave him, I looked at to see who did what. CIA gave him the intel, and one Israeli pilot shot him and killed him. And not only he's dead, his son, his daughter-in-law, and 30-some member of the cabinet, pretty much the Islamic Shia think tank is obliterated. And that is good news. If you're an American, if you're a Westerner, if you're a Christian, if you're from Israel, wherever you're watching, you should be rejoicing. And this is a new day. Sorry to talk too fast and too much, but
there we go.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to. He's happy.
Yeah.
He's happy. It's just, when we were in London, I can insert a clip here. Guys, we went to London for the weekend, and we're going to do some clips. We saw, it was the day after this that all happened. We saw a celebration in London, and then there was a woman running away from it saying, "It's not safe there, don't go there." It's crazy to me, like, I'm just mind blown that this is a positive thing.
Yeah.
I don't understand how people don't think it is unless they have no understanding of Islam.
I think it's because you're a little bit younger. And
Mhm.
after 9/11, we had some wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, which were sold to the American and British public as civilizational building like projects. And it turns out if you want Sharia law, you also kind of don't want Western civilization.
Yeah.
And so they were mostly failures.
Mhm.
What people don't realize is that this military intervention in Iran is facilitating a whole bunch of Persians who genuinely want liberal freedoms
Yeah.
in their country.
Mhm.
And they have, as he says in this little stretch of talking in this podcast, it's not going to be a vacuum where it's just going to be a mad scramble for power. Whoever has
Yeah.
the most AKs gets to win and run Iran. They have a crown prince who
Yep.
who has expressed an interest in protecting minority groups.
And he was saying 2/3 of the Iranians don't want the Islamic Republic.
Yeah, they don't consider themselves Muslims,
No.
right? And this is in private polling. When you do public polling in Iran, you knock on someone's door and say, "Hey, are you Muslim?" Like the vast majority of people are going to say, "Yes, of course, yeah." Now go away, right?
Yeah.
When in private polling, people are a lot more honest, and they'll say what they truly believe. The majority
Mhm.
of Persians in Iran do not believe in Islam.
And this is the thing, that's private polling. I imagine even people then were skeptical of it.
Yes.
And still put down Muslim just to be safe, even
Yes.
if the Republic got their hands on the private.
Yeah, it's more
Yeah.
likely they would be underreporting than the Muslims. But
Yeah.
like of the Muslims, of that 33 whatever percent of Muslims, 33 to 40,
Mhm.
I can't remember the numbers specifically, but I do believe many of those weren't even fervent, right?
Mhm.
They weren't even like regular prayers.
You know what this reminds me of? And they're always so tied to each other, was the communist takeover of Russia. You just have this small sect of people which go against the majority civilization. What would be the word? The majority of people's view, but they look scary enough,
Mhm.
and they have just enough power for people to crumble and listen to it. And it
Yeah.
has such negative effects.
Mhm.
Sorry, this is. I just wanted to. It
Yeah.
just reminds me of that.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even need to win hearts and minds,
No.
really, if you have enough violent men
Yeah.
with post-Soviet arms. Uh, so yes, of course, the outcome of all of this, after all the torture and the mass political prisoner kidnapping and the rapes and all of this,
Mhm.
after all of this, you have a huge, very intelligent population of people,
Yeah.
right, who are now well informed because of the internet, who understand the direction their country has gone in and what they've lost, right? Because during the 1960s and 1950s, Iran was fairly liberal.
Yeah.
You had women in the
I
workplace.
know someone that I do Youth for Christ volunteer with that used to visit Iran regularly. He's an older chap. Obviously before it,
Mm.
he used to mission trips, and they had to evacuate and stuff because of
Yeah.
the Iran takeover. And and this is what is infuriating to me. It's not all liberals,
Mhm.
because I know some really progressive friends that hate Islam, and I think also Destiny's a good example
Mhm.
of someone, because we just watched a debate when we were in London of someone who's really liberal but also doesn't like Islam. But the majority of liberal people are ill-informed. They don't know much about Islam, and then they just bring their Marxist ideology over to that of the oppressor, the oppressed. Trump is just oppressing the Iranian people, oppressing this government. I get it's insane to me. And one thing that goes viral on Instagram, and specifically because of this Iran thing, is the before and after. The before and after of like women being able to go to the beaches and not having to wear hijabs and all this, and then Islamic takeover. They can't go to the beach, do sports, have to wear hijabs, otherwise you're executed. Like, guys, if you're watching this, we get a lot of hate comments. Just think about that for a second. Think about your position. Trump aside, put Trump aside for a second. You guys got Trump derangement syndrome. You hate Trump so much. You hate Israel so much. You have become blinded by Islam.
Mhm.
You turn a blind eye to Islam and the danger Islam poses.
Mhm. When we were talking, what was that last podcast, 2 podcasts ago, about Trump being a useful tool,
Yeah.
right? I Trump could be guilty of any number of horrifying crimes.
Yeah.
It seems like pretty much everyone is, and becomes a question who is going to be the most useful at helping people.
Yeah.
Right? In a broad sense. And here, I think this is good Trump stuff, where we have where Trump got a real bee in his bonnet at the probably the mental picture of all these Iranians getting gunned down by their own government, and so he threatened the Iranian regime that if they started killing their own people, he would enact.
And it wasn't
violence.
just killing 100. What did
He said 90,000, like, is a rough estimate, but could be as high as 100,000 within a month and a bit.
within January?
Yeah.
In January.
Like, insane. And so yeah, Donald Trump did something that was good.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
stepping in.
I'm not. I don't think it's so immature to go that you need to approve of a politician's character or like him in order to approve of something he has done.
Yeah.
I don't care about Donald Trump as a person much. Because of the circumstance. I wish he was a righteous person.
Yeah.
Boy, do I wish he was a righteous person.
Yeah,
I wish
yeah.
we had righteous people in politics, full stop. Given that we don't.
What we do with that, and like you're saying, is think about the Iranians. They are celebrating this. They're
Yes.
so happy. Insert clip of when we're in London again, of the beginning of the celebration. I keep saying protest. Protest celebration, and Pete was celebrating, congratulating people,
Mhm.
and they were thankful for it.
Yeah.
They were thankful for it.
There was a guy, I don't know, we didn't record it, I don't think.
No.
We walked past as we were going into the park.
a coffee shop.
We walked past a coffee shop and a guy was coming out with
Mhm.
the Shah's flag wrapped over
Mhm.
his shoulders. And I said, "Excuse me, sir, congratulations." And he went, thank you, freedom at last."
Yeah.
Right? That's how people feel about this. And, it's Now, I will say, shall we get into a little bit of the politics of this? Is that
Yeah, okay.
I do feel a little wary that, well, the British government is retarded.
Oh, yeah, and gonna have to bleep that.
Yes,
How
did.
is acoustic?
Yeah.
There you go. They're acoustic guitars.
Yes. And I suspect a lot of these awesome Iranian people that we have over here, Iranians start businesses and they're law abiding, they're great people, right? I imagine a lot of them are gonna go back to their country to help rebuild it, and in response, we will take in a whole bunch of Shia Muslim extremists who are fleeing a free country, the establishment of a free country. So we'll have this like lovely little Persian exchange where we'll take all the awesome people and then replace them with people who believe that women should walk around in plastic bags or whatever, right?
What
be
I've
great.
heard, I'm gonna have to fact check. Oh, my mic cut out then. But anyway, so what I've heard is what I was gonna say. That might be a cut there because my mic stopped working. Is Keir Starmer during this whole entire thing is repeatedly saying, I haven't done any bombs, by the way, guys. I haven't done anything.
Please don't hurt me.
I haven't done anything.
Leave me alone.
God, it is so frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a Muslim friend, this is where we want to talk. It's like the tribalism in Islamic fears. If you have a Muslim friend, you're listening to us, you're like, I love my Muslim friend. I love him great. And if he's taking side with the Islamic Republic, you need to think about this dude.
Yes.
We know someone, love him dearly, disagree with him, what would it be, fervently on this scenario, because he's like, well, I have really great Muslim friends. Yeah, I doubt that. And maybe they're like this other dude on David Wood, who's a Muslim, kind of. A Christian Muslim. Or like, you
Muslim
know,
who acts like a Christian.
Yeah. But if they're, what I'm trying to say is just question them. Are they taking, whose side are they taking? Whose side are they taking? Because if they're taking side with the Islamic Republic, that's all you need to know when push comes to shove.
Yes.
Right now they don't. But when push comes to shove, are they going to stand for you?
Yeah.
Are they going to have your back?
I mean, it's not. Let's say this is your opportunity to start changing their mind.
Yeah.
And having some difficult conversations. Like, it's perfectly valid to not take a side. Like, if you had a Muslim friend and they were like, oh, I don't really know what's going on, but, you know, I don't. Like, it seems like we had some really bad wars in the early 2000s, but also, I don't know, the government seems kind of bad, so I don't know. You're like, oh, okay, that's fine. That's like a normal human response. But something that is purely like, it's difficult because in the West, you can have dual motivations where you can both have like the Islamic tribalism, but also have like the wokey, like brown people good, and the more misbehaving the brown people are, the worse those brown people misbehave, the more they're being oppressed. You know, they're just acting out because they're being. And so like you could have a Muslim friend who has this synthesis, this weird little syncretic religion between postmodern neo-Marxism and Islam, where they go like, oh yeah, they're just Israel are just oppressing another group of Muslims, and you know, where you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's hard. So like if you do have Muslim friends with strong opinions on this subject, and they go contrary to what the Iranians feel about the situation, now's your opportunity to ask them questions, talk to them, because you really have a good snapshot of where they're at in terms of their ideology, and like try to understand whether or not they're coming from like a really like team Muslim or coming at it from like a communisty kind of perspective. Like figure out what's going on. The scariest thing about Islam is that you can have so many people that you love, you grew up with, right? But then when like a shift in culture happens, they become more Islamic, right? And that sometimes it's a population tipping point. Sometimes the teaching just becomes like more by the book, and the signal goes out, and then all of a sudden, people that you grew up with, people that you met at uni, will start acting differently towards you because you're out on the outside.
Yeah.
And we need to like discuss this while we still can.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And then moving on to the final part of this podcast, just listen to what he says at the very end.
Yeah, absolutely.
What he says in light of this. How do the Iranians feel? Well, what have we talked about so far in this podcast? His testimony, was trained to be a jihadist, met a Christian, gave his life to the Lord, knows people that died for the Christian message. 3, how do the Iranians feel in light of everything that's happened? Happy for what next? and you're gonna see what next.
To replace this regime. Just keep praying that nobody talks about ceasefire. We don't want ceasefire. We don't want none of that. We want this regime to be cannot find holes that they hide in it, because Iranians are done with it. Persians are done with it. We're ready to move on from Islam to replace this with something much more open that is going to benefit everybody. The fastest growing evangelical church is inside Iran. This is true. We're working with them. We have underground churches everywhere. Every little town, cities, villages, there is underground churches in it. And the Iranian underground church is going to come on the ground by the grace of God. And you just watch the revival that is happening. It's going to be awesome. So
there we go.
Mhm.
Oh,
It feels weird, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A Christian saying, "Pray for no ceasefire."
man, I'm sorry, Dad, if you made it this far. The reason I say that is because what's the generation after boomers called?
Gen X.
Gen X. All my days, they're overwhelmingly pacifist.
Yeah.
And what he's saying here is, what next? How do the Iranians feel? They like it. No ceasefire. No, keep going. Keep going.
He wants their eradication.
He wants them.
Wants no room for them to hide.
Oh man, people are gonna think we're extreme.
Oh, I'm
That's
not.
fine.
It's what he's saying.
Yeah.
He is saying this. He a man in touch with loads of Iranians
Mhm,
talking about
mhm.
the Iranian situation says, everyone wants this government gone.
Kill them.
Kill. That's
Yeah,
what he's saying. He says,
literally.
kill them. And when you kill them, people will feel more comfortable to express their Christian faith in
Mhm.
public.
Mm-hmm.
It's what he's saying. Like,
Yeah. You gotta like, man, this is just the hard truth sometimes. Is we're not saying to kill everyone that identifies as a Muslim.
yes, of
But
course,
we're
yeah.
saying if you have people that are identifying themselves as Muslim, killing thousands of people, you deserve the death penalty. I'm sorry. And you need to eradicate that mindset. Get it out of here.
Mhm.
Otherwise, they're just going to regroup
Mhm.
and just take over. You were saying before, no matter what, even though this is such a great thing, to a certain extent, you're not going to be able to stop it. They're going to have a permanent jihadist problem.
Yeah.
Anyway, so as we're closing up this podcast, I'll let you close. What do you want to say?
Long live the Shah. This is amazing news. I don't know what, because
Who's the Shah?
the Shah is the crown prince. He is the heir to the throne
Mhm.
of Persia. He's the Prince of Persia. Great game series. And he's proposing to his people essentially two choices: constitutional monarchy, or he becomes the president of Iran, and they do away with the ceremonial position of monarchy entirely, which is an amazingly open and beautiful thing for him to do. He clearly wants to do what is in the best interest of his people so far, right? You know, time is the test of character. We'll see, but he's the best option.
Yeah.
And I genuinely think this is one of the most optimistic things I've seen in my lifetime. If Iran becomes a Western style democracy of some description, be it constitutional monarchy or whatever,
Mhm.
representative republic, it could be one of the most powerful forces in that entire region of the world.
Yeah.
It will be a great place to church plant. You know, like once all of this is resolved, if you feel like God is calling you to preach the gospel to the nations, go open a church in Iran. Like it's going to be
Mhm.
such an amazing opportunity. It's going to be such an amazing opportunity. I pray we should all be praying that they clinch this. That not only is the more powerful Shia jihadist influence in their culture like suppressed and gotten rid of as much as possible, but also that whatever nation they build on the other side of this is God honoring
Mhm.
and is pro-human, is something that respects the value of women, that ensures the safety of minorities. Like, hey man, like say this is the thing, another thing that bothers you and me, right? Like everyone has so much to say about the state of minorities in the West.
Mhm.
But compared to how minorities of minority religions and minority ethnicities are treated in that part of the world,
Yeah.
this place is friggin' paradise.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you want to advocate for a country to treat minorities within their borders better, this is where you should be looking, right?
Here's where you're looking.
So pray for that, advocate for that, keep an eye on Iran. It is a huge hope for the future. It's a country of wonderful people with an ancient, sophisticated culture. They are a civilization building people, and they've been like set off the path by this backwards, violent regime for too long.
Yeah. So in short, this is good news. And if you don't think it's good news, fact check yourself.
Yeah.
There you go. You have fun with that?
Yeah.
All right.
This has been.
Biblical way.
Yeah, this has been the biblical way.
Yeah.
That with that.
5.